This is your boy Joe back at it again, man. CodingPhase.com. Your boy is backing out and did it again. All right. Listen, today is going to be a very controversial topic, and I'm taking a stand here. And I'm going to say this. Well, I'm choosing Ruby on Rails over Python. And what does that mean? Right? Like, who am I? Well, for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm a web developer. I've been doing this for a long time now. I've been doing this since probably 2011. We're in 2017 right now, ending of the year of 2017. Pretty much, I'm going to choose Ruby on Rails on this one. All right. Now, this goes to everybody who's trying to become a web developer, who basically is a self-taught developer. I believe the route for a self-taught developer, somebody who's teaching themselves at home, either reading books, either learning on Udemy, learning on Team Treehouse, Pluralsight, every single company out there, even CodingPhase.com, right? Any company that's out there, right? It doesn't matter. If you're trying to become a developer and you're teaching yourself, there's an easier route for you to get into the industry by becoming a web developer. There's more jobs and it's easier for people to get in, okay? Because smaller businesses, they need developers, okay? So once you're in the industry, that's it, you're in the industry. From there on, every other job that you go to, it doesn't matter what college you went to, it doesn't matter what high school you went to, that's wiped. What stays with you is the fact that you work somewhere and you actually been out here creating projects. All right. So that's why it's important and why I think it's an easier route for people to get into web development instead of doing software engineering, software development, or, machine learning, etc. You guys fill in the blank of subgenres of programming. That's it. All right. So why did I pick this topic today? Why are we talking about this? It's not a Ruby on Rails versus Python. It's not Ruby on Rails or Ruby, the programming language, versus Node.js, Golang, whatever language you want to fill out. PHP, doesn't matter. Why am I choosing Rails and not Python? Well, we're going to go into this, okay? I'm going to look into this thing because I just spent a good hour and a half of going over different states, different job postings. I did the research, right? Just an hour and a half on each one. So I have about 3 hours doing this, okay? So pretty much I said, you know what? I'm going to create a course. My next course is going to be either in Ruby on Rails or Python. Ruby on Rails, I love it, and I'm biased because it's probably one of the first things that I learned, especially in the back end. In Python, I love it because it's similar to Ruby, and at the same time, it makes your code so clean. I love that about Python. But I'm all about jobs. I'm all about the opportunity of getting that job first. All right. Most of my audience are people who are not college graduates. They probably have degrees in other fields, but it's not computer science. Right. So that's the first thing that I want to let everybody know, because, this might just bring up a whole controversy on the internet. But for some reason, when I say something, it makes ripples throughout the whole industry. But it's just funny. I'm going to bring this up. So we're looking for Python developers, quote unquote Python developers. There's a big difference when you do a search of saying on Indeed.com and you say Python. Okay. If you put in Python, it's going to show 36,000 jobs out there. All right. We're not talking about, hey, do they have it in the description? Do they add it to, somewhere like a plus? No, we're talking about, hey, they hiring Python developers and they hiring Ruby on Rails developers. Okay, there's a big difference between the two. All right. Now, we're going to go into this. One thing that you're going to notice if you do this search like this on Indeed.com, title Python, you're going to notice that most of the jobs here are really for software engineering and machine learning. All right. Now, those fields are not something that you could just say, hey, I just learned this on Udemy, and Udemy is where it's at. Hire me. Companies are not really to, want to give you the opportunity that quick. It's not that easy to get those Python jobs, because you got to think about it like this. Let's go into a little bit of history. Python has been, it wasn't super popular back in the days, but it's always been there. Now, all the nerds, they love it. We love it, right? We love Python. Now, the universities have been doing something lately for, I think, the past 10 years. A lot of universities and colleges have been picking up on the fact that Python is very easy, very clean, and it's actually easier than C, C#, Objective-C, F#, all those languages. It's actually easier for people to learn. So what they're doing is teaching computer science, just the basics. Computer science with programming, just the basics. They're teaching it in Python. Okay, so what happens now? Now, with time, Python has been getting more popular, more popular, more popular, more popular. Now, what happens with this is a lot of the college students are doing searches online, and they're searching for Python tutorials, Python, etc. You fill in the blank. Everybody's looking for Python. But what happens is that there's really not a lot of jobs for Python developers for people who are self-taught, people who are looking for this online. If you are a computer science major, now you're on the, on the same lane as everybody else, the engineers, the software engineers. You guys are fighting for that position. All right. You fighting for that position. Everybody has a college degree. Everybody has this, and that. Those guys, they're fighting for those positions to get those jobs. Right. But one thing that you're going to notice here, most of these companies are not really doing web development. What they're doing is software engineer, basically creating programs, creating tools for the company itself, or doing things like that is not really dealing too much with the web. It's not that easy getting those jobs. Let's just be honest. It's not, because the competition is so fierce out there that whenever a new job gets posted out there, everybody starts applying for it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like cockroaches. You throw a freaking steak out on the street, cockroaches and rats is going to go in there and try to eat it up as soon as possible. By the time you get there, it's probably just a bone. All right. So that's what happens with Python. Now, on the other hand, Ruby on Rails is pretty much something about the web, right? It's a framework for web developers. Okay. And one thing that has been happening with Ruby on Rails for the past few years is the search results have been going down, but the jobs have not been going down. For some reason, everybody on the internet have been saying, oh, Ruby on Rails is dying. Ruby on Rails is this, and that. And that's mostly because they go by stuff that they see here. Node.js, or like, let's say, for example, Stack Overflow's survey, which is a survey of other developers. But they're not doing a survey of the businesses. They're not doing a survey of the companies that are hiring for this technology, this framework, Ruby on Rails. They just not. You know what I mean? Like, one thing that you will notice here is like, hey, if you do search results, you will see, hey, Node.js is on the top. And I could tell you one thing. When you search for Node.js, a lot of people are not really looking for the backend of, to use Node.js. A lot of people use the search result of Node.js for searching things like npm packages and, etc. Right? This, everybody knows this. This is not a secret, guys, that more than half of the people that use Node.js or npm, they use it for the packages of JavaScript for the front end. They're not there for the back-end packages, or they're not there for Node.js itself. They're there for the packages, right? I myself use NPM all the time on every single project that I do. Doesn't matter if it's in Ruby, Python, Golang. I install Node.js in my computer, and wherever I go, I do NPM install, right? So you guys should know that. JavaScript right now, there's no denying. JavaScript is hot, you know, but you got to understand JavaScript is the front end. It's always going to be hot because you need HTML, CSS, and JavaScript no matter what. That's always going to be hot. And one thing that you're going to see, Python is super high up here, okay? And has actually been going over JavaScript. And the reason why this is happening is very simple. When you look online, you search for Python, you gotta understand, Python is a snake. Python is a snake. Like, you search on YouTube, Python, and they're showing you snakes, right? Now, another thing that you're gonna notice is, like I said, Python has been very popular in universities. Like, everybody that I know that have taken computer science in the past 10 years have had to take Python, all right? So in school, they're basically telling you, hey, you want to learn the basics of programming? Do it in Python. Make your life easier. So all the students are constantly searching for Python, Python, Python. Okay? Now, we look at Ruby on Rails, and we see, you know, Node.js is here. It's more similar to, closer to Ruby on Rails, but Ruby on Rails is all the way at the bottom. That's one thing that you're going to notice as far as search results. Okay, and what does that mean? This being a complete decline of Ruby on Rails when it comes to developers, right? All of the developers out here, they want to be jumping on the latest things. They want to jump on Golang. They want to jump on Node.js. They want to jump on, even Python, whatever it's hot out there. You know, everybody's worrying about Angular versus React versus Vue. But what are companies looking for? What are companies out here hiring? All right. When we come back to Indeed.com, you will notice one thing. For every job that Python has, and this is quote unquote Python developer. We're not talking about, hey, we added you to the description. We're like, hey, we don't mind if you know Python. If you know Python, C, C#, Objective-C, JavaScript. Like, you know how HR and all this freaking recruiters put in 20,000 different requirements or 20,000 different programming languages just to fill it up? Because in reality, nobody cares about if, you know, what type of language you know, as long as you have the essentials and you know how to program. Like, you, in reality, if you know web development, you know web development in every single language out there. It's just about looking at the documentation and learning the syntax. Doesn't really matter. But when we look specifically into Python versus Ruby on Rails, as far as jobs and what's out there, you will notice that most of these jobs are for software engineers. They're looking for people who are very knowledgeable, are very good with math. If you're not good with math, Python is not the place for you, because they're not looking for people who are self-taught. The idea that you might see this on a Udemy commercial where they say, Python is where it's at. Like, no, it's not where it's at for a brand new developer. Yes, they have to promote that because, hey, they're making money. It's all about making money. It's not about, you know, giving people the options and giving people the resources to actually find a job as soon as possible. Hey, let's learn Python and spend the next 6 months trying to look for a job, especially when you're self-taught and you don't have a computer science degree. Yay, let's do that. That's on you. Me, on the other hand, I'm more of a realist. All right. Now, so I'm looking at this. You say, okay, 1,200 jobs. All right. There's 2,000 and 1,100 jobs for Ruby on Rails in the United States right now. And there's the same thing as in Python. This is 1,200 jobs in the United States right now. We're not talking about, hey, we're looking for a back-end developer and we don't know exactly what technology we're going to throw at you. But if you know a little bit of Python, it's similar to whatever we're doing here. We can teach you the language. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about quote unquote Python developers versus Ruby on Rails developers. Ruby on Rails is a great community, and every company that has invested into Ruby on Rails knows that. And they know that, hey, if we do use Ruby on Rails, we're going to get the best of the best. And not only that, people that love to code. You know, most of the Ruby on Rails developers are not here for the money. They make a lot of money, but they're not here for the money. Like, you could literally tell, you go to a conference, it's everybody's there like super excited for the language, and you know, they just there to work, man. They're trying to learn. Now, Python is great, and I'm not talking bad about it. It's not for me to say, hey, I want to just persuade people to leave Python alone. I'm putting in the facts here, okay? If you are a self-taught developer, somebody learning on your own, you know, going with Python is not the best choice for you. That's just being honest, right? Look it up. If you live here in the United States, look it up. Now, if you live outside of the United States, one thing that you would notice is, you know, there's so many jobs compared to Python that are on Ruby on Rails remotely. Look it up. Go to dice.com, go to remote.com, go to remoteok.io, go to even in Lara jobs, you might find jobs that put on Ruby on Rails. You know, listen, look it up. Ruby on Rails jobs versus Python jobs. Guys, I'm telling you right now, there's a huge difference. Now, for the past 10 years, people have been trying to bring Ruby on Rails down. And it's for a reason. When Ruby on Rails came in, Ruby on Rails changed the whole industry. Every single company out there was like, what the hell is this? We're using .NET and all the cool startups are using Ruby on Rails. And it was for a reason, okay? With Ruby on Rails, you could build any type of web application super quick and efficiently, right? Now, one thing that happened, I don't remember if it was 2008, 2009, 2010, around there. Something happened. Twitter came out, and Twitter was created with Ruby on Rails. Then the creators of Ruby on Rails realized that, hey, for the type of website that we have, using Ruby on Rails is too slow. We're going to have a lot of problems scaling it. Now, one thing that I will tell you guys is, how many of you do you guys think are going to create something like Twitter? Bring this up because this is something that you can see here. 618 million tweets sent today by 9:56 p.m. Eastern time. You get what I'm saying? Like, how many companies do you think are getting that type of traffic? That type of, you know, get and post requests constantly. How many companies do you guys think that are dealing with that? Not that many, guys. I'll be surprised if maybe 15, 20 companies in the whole world are getting that many, get and post requests in the world. So what happened after that, after the creators of Twitter, or probably just the team of Twitter, said, hey, you know what? Let's change language. And I believe they changed to Scala. I think. I'm almost pretty sure. Twitter, Scala. Yeah. Twitter uses Scala. All right. So they had to switch from Ruby on Rails to Scala, to just because of the way how things work. Is too many requests and they needed to scale bigger. And I'm not mad at them. I totally agree with them. I think for something like Ruby on Rails, that might not be the right place for it. But when they did that, they pretty much opened up the gates to everybody be like, you know what? We might not use Ruby on Rails. Okay? Like literally Ruby on Rails was on its way to becoming, and Ruby in general was on its way to becoming the next PHP. Pretty much owning, let's say 50% of the market. The moment that happened, from there it started going downhill as far as, companies popping up using Ruby on Rails. People say, you know what? We might as well just stick with whatever we have. We might as well stick with Java, with which we already have. We might as well stick with, ASP.NET, which we already have. PHP, which we already have. So they're not going to switch up. All right. Now, who takes the risk? Who are the ones that are creating new companies? Usually is the new people coming in, the new developers, new startups, right? Till this day, a whole bunch of startups are still popping up with Ruby on Rails because it's so much easier to build things on the web. Okay? Now, another thing that I'm going to say is, we come back here and we look at these numbers, right? Throughout the whole internet, this is how many websites are out there. You got PHP, 20% of the website are done PHP, 8% are done on .NET, 0.95% are Ruby on Rails, 23% Python, 21% on Express. Put those two things together, they're like a 40% on Node.js. You got a little something, let's say 30% are done on Python. Not even 30%, 0.30% are done on Python. That's throughout the whole world. And that's fine because most people are going to use WordPress. So PHP is going to win no matter what. But once we start coming in and we say, okay, top 1 million, we start seeing numbers start going up. But one thing that you're going to notice is Ruby on Rails don't drop from here. It just doesn't. That little third spot, no matter where you go, it's still going to be there. We come in, we go top 100K. Now, this is the sweet spot. This is the place where 90% of you guys are going to get hired. Right? This is the sweet spot. This is where you're going to get those jobs. Okay? You're going to see that, PHP still dominates, ASP.NET, you got Ruby on Rails, Express. So both of these, Node.js. So Node.js on the top 100,000 sites, Node.js are very close to Ruby on Rails. And this thing can also be a little bit mixed up because you could have Node.js on your server for whatever reason. It could be for automating something, and pretty much this application picks it up and says, hey, they use Express. Hey, they use Node.js. All right. So that's to be clear. All right. Now we come to the top 10,000 websites. One thing that you're going to notice is Ruby on Rails is still on the top and never leaves that third spot. And those companies are not going to leave the language because pretty much it works. Ruby on Rails works. No matter how you look at it. It just works. It's good. It's great for the web. It's a great framework. The language is beautiful. It's easy to learn. It's just everything that a developer will ever want. All right. But we're going to continue with this. Let's say here on the internet, a lot of people just don't like this guy. They just don't like him. There's a lot of developers that just don't like him. His name is David Heine Hansen, DHH. He's the creator of Ruby on Rails. When we think about a typical developer, he's not the square looking developer with a tight shirt and can't barely move, super awkward in different situations. Like, this is somebody who's very comfortable, who's very secure, who has a very cool company And I've heard this a lot of times, guys, from other developers, guys who, in my head, I'm like, man, these people are crazy. For a lot of people, they're like, man, I don't like Ruby on Rails because of this guy. And they say to themselves, they're like, I'm so happy that Ruby on Rails has been going down. But what they don't understand is that just because this guy is not your typical developer doesn't mean, or that the fact that he's a little bit arrogant sometimes, that's fine. Listen, I wish, Bill Gates would come in and talk that ish sometime. Or Mark Zuckerberg will come in and be like, hey guys, I'm here dab, and like Mark Zuckerberg and throw like $1 billion on somebody. Like, I wouldn't be mad at Mark Zuckerberg to do that, right? But this guy, he's out there. You know what I mean? Like, he's really out there. People love him and people hate him. And I've seen this a lot of times where people be like, man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that they don't, that Ruby on Rails is going down. But one thing that they forget is the fact that Ruby on Rails is some amazing framework, right? So even if you be like, hey man, you leave comments everywhere you go on the net, Ruby on Rails is slow, Ruby on Rails is dying. Listen, the numbers don't lie, man. This is the new baby for everybody. Python's been around since God knows when, right? It's been around for a long time, right? So it's taking this long to get popular with the cool kids. But one thing that you're going to notice is the jobs are not there for self-taught developer. Now, if you're a computer science, if you are a well-known developer, if you've been doing this for 10, 20 years, I don't know what you was doing watching this video, because this video was not for you, and you know it, right? Go ahead, leave your hate comment below. I will appreciate it. We know you have 10 years in the industry. We know you're 20 years plus. We know you was doing this with Haskell and freaking Pascal and the whole shebang and Lisp. And yes, great. I'm talking about the people who are trying to learn. People who are self-taught. Everybody wants to get into this industry now. But I'm not going to teach something that I feel is going to be harder for brand new developers on my website. One thing that I noticed on my site, right, is about 70% of the people start with HTML and CSS, which tells me 70% of the people on my website are completely beginners. And I'm pretty sure that even on Udemy, even on Team Treehouse, all of these companies out here that are teaching and other instructors are teaching, they realize that the majority of the people are completely beginners, right? We can come here and try to sell you something and say, hey man, Python is where it's at. Hey man, Node.js is where it's at. I can come in here and sell you that dream. And I could probably get more people, more subscribers, more people to buy into my courses. But I'm not in it for that type of business. I'm in here for saying, hey, this person came in, they got a job in 3 to 4 months. That's it. That's my goal. That's my goal, to say, hey, my students, the people who come in and pay their hard-earned money, they're getting the best chance that they can out of me to get into the industry. All right. So now this long video is a 28-minute video, and it's just to tell you, hey, the next course that I'm dropping is going to be on Ruby on Rails 5, and we're gonna do it with React, and that's how we're gonna do it, kids. All right. Pretty much it's like a 30-minute video just to tell you that. And I wanted to show you guys with proof. It's like the numbers are there. You can do the research. You can look it up, do the research and look it up. What are Python jobs looking for? How difficult it is for a self-taught developer to get into a company as a Python developer. And that's what I do here. I'm a web developer. I'm not a software engineer. I'm not a software developer. The people that come to my channel and my community, They're not software developers, software engineers. They're people just like me and you trying to get into this industry, right? I give them the best route, the easiest route to get into the industry, get introduced to programming, but at the same time with one simple goal, which people forget. The main goal is to get a job and be able to survive by doing something cool and fun. All right? From there on, once you're working, you can work on game development, you can work on software engineering, you could do whatever you want. But once you get that job, my job is done. And that's my goal. So if you like this video, make sure you like this video below. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I want to know what the people think about this. This is real numbers. This is stuff that you can look up. This is research that you can do on your own. I spent about an hour and a half on both of them and looked at it on where they at today on, I'm going to give you the date, November 21st, 2017. I did my research, looked through a whole bunch of websites, looked through a whole bunch of different job boards. And one thing that I noticed was most of the jobs from Python, they're looking specifically for degrees in math and science. They're looking for people who are doing machine learning, background software engineer. Now, if you don't have that, then what happens? Now you're out here competing with the same college students that are applying for the same jobs, who at least have been doing it on paper for 4 years before you. Now, if you want to do that, go ahead. You can do it. Everybody makes their own choice and everybody learns on their own way. But me personally, I'm going to give you guys the best route that I can give you. All right? Listen, guys, make sure you subscribe to this video. Make sure you like this video. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Right? So I'll see you guys later. If you love my channel, if you love what I do here, go check out my website, man. CodingPhase.com. Pretty much, literally, the coolest applications that you could make out there. I'm doing them on different courses. All right? I have, Get All Access Pass. I'll have Learn HTML, CSS by building a cool social network. React the quick and easy way. Build a restaurant web app. Learn PHP. Node.js. Listen, we could go in there, man. Let's go in there. Node.js, jQuery, JavaScript framework, HyperApp.js, Pug.js, SaaS like a pro, Terminal for developers, build a responsive web app, future-proof JavaScript, object-oriented programming with JavaScript, ES6, ES7, ES8, any ES that comes out is gonna be in there. Let's just put it like that. Laravel like a boss. Let's build an Instagram clone. Let's build a Netflix clone. Atom text editor. Life after learning to code. Hey guys, and all of that, you could literally say, hey, I'm gonna buy one course each, right? You could do that. Or you could just come in and get the All Access Pass. You get access to everything for a single price per month. Super cheap. I believe you could get it for $10 when you use the link below. Like, guys, it's up to you. If you're seeing this and you're thinking, hey, man, I want to get into the industry as soon as possible, this is your best route, man. I just gave you all the research that you need and where to find it, and make your own research. Don't take it from me. Do your own research. Look it up. Find the different jobs and compare both of them, and then you start noticing a couple of things. All right? I'll see you guys later. Bow.